This is the only way, boy. But you got to help me. Will you?
The movie 1922, adapted from Stephen King's novella, begins in 1930 with a man named Wilf James checking into a hotel room in Omaha, Nebraska. He looks worn down, his face deeply lined, his body frail.
To whom it may concern.
He sits at a desk and begins to write a confession, one that he clearly knows is his last act before facing judgment. From his shaky handwriting and his heavy breathing, we already sense that what we are about to hear is not just a story, but the unraveling of a man's soul. We are taken back to 1922, when Wilf was a farmer living in Hemingford Home, Nebraska. He's married to Arlette, a sharp, independent woman, and they have a teenage son, Henry. Their farm consists of 80 acres of land Wilf has worked hard to cultivate, but Arlette has inherited another 100 acres from her father. This land becomes the source of their greatest conflict. Wilf loves the land fiercely. To him, the soil, the crops, and the farm represent stability, tradition, and manhood itself. He's proud, stubborn, and utterly devoted to farming. Arlette, however, despises the rural life. She sees the farm as a prison, and she dreams of selling everything and moving to Omaha, where she imagines a more exciting life full of opportunity and freedom.
The lawyer assures me the land is mine, to do with as I wish, and I'm gonna sell.
The tension between them grows worse each day. Wilf insists that the land is a man's soul, while Arlette mocks his obsession with dirt and sweat. Their fights escalate until Arlette announces her plan to sell her share of the land to a livestock company. This would destroy Wilf's life, as it would leave him with nothing but his pride. His desperation hardens into something darker, a plan to make sure Arlette never gets the chance to leave. Wilf knows he can't kill her alone, not without raising suspicion. So, he turns to Henry. He manipulates his teenage son, convincing him that if Arlette moves to the city, she will drag Henry along and separate him from the girl he loves, Shannon. Wilf paints Arlette as selfish and cruel, and slowly, Henry gives in. This is where the story shifts from domestic arguments to horror. One night, Wilf and Henry put their plan into action. They get Arlette drunk under the guise of celebrating. When she stumbles to bed, they attack her. Henry holds her down, while Wilf smothers her with a pillow and then cuts her throat. It is a raw, brutal scene that is deeply unsettling, not only for the violence itself, but because of the way Wilf calmly justifies it in his narration. To him, it was simply what had to be done. They dump Arlette's body in the old well behind the house. The moment her body hits the bottom, rats swarm around her. It's a horrifying image, and the rats become a recurring symbol throughout the film, embodying Wilf's guilt, rot, and the inevitability of decay. At first, Wilf seems confident he's gotten away with it. He tells neighbors and the sheriff that Arlette ran off to Omaha. People believe him. Arlette had often spoken of leaving, but Henry begins to unravel. He can't sleep, he can't eat, and he's haunted by what they did. To cope, he clings even tighter to Shannon, and soon the two of them run away together, leaving Wilf behind. From here, Wilf's life spirals into ruin. Alone on the farm, he notices rats multiplying everywhere. They chew through his crops, infest his barn, and gnaw at the foundation of his house. Worse, he begins to see visions of Arlette, her corpse pale and rotten, whispering to him in the dark. His pride, the very thing that drove him to murder, now chains him to a dying farm. Meanwhile, Henry and Shannon turn to a life of crime, robbing stores and drifting from town to town. Their rebellion doesn't last long. Eventually, the law catches up to them, and in a bloody shootout, both Henry and Shannon are killed. The son Wilf killed to protect slips away in violence, just as Arlette had promised. Wilf hears about Henry's death and breaks completely. The farm falls apart, the crops wither, the house collapses, and Wilf is left surrounded by rats. He wanders through the ruins of his life, tormented by visions of Arlette and Henry. By the time we return to 1930, Wilf has lost everything: his wife, his son, his land, his sanity. He sits in that Omaha hotel room finishing his confession, knowing no one will forgive him. The film ends with a chilling scene. Wilf looks up from his writing, and the ghosts of Arlette, Henry, and Shannon appear in his room. Rats crawl everywhere, and we understand that his damnation is complete. His pride and greed led him to murder, and now he is cursed to relive it forever. Why 1922 works? What makes 1922 so haunting is its slow, methodical descent into madness. It isn't a story of a violent man, it's a story of an ordinary man who made one terrible decision and was consumed by it. The land, once his salvation, becomes his prison. The rats, once confined to the well, take over every inch of his life. And the ghosts, real or imagined, remind us that guilt never goes away. Thanks for watching.